Peace, kings, queens, gods, and earths. Today's math, number 3. I'm gonna do 2 as well. Yesterday was a celebration of the Day of the Dead. And much respect to my Spanish community, Mexican community, the Latino community. Yeah, y'all prayers heard. And yeah, God love y'all, man. Jesus love y'all. You hear me? It's real. 2 is born from the birth of all civilizations. The building process has always been the same, you know. You build your temple, you build your church, you build your mound, you build your structure for the Father, you know, for the Son, you know what I mean? Building process. All righteous builders know this. All righteous men know this. You know what I mean? And from the beginning of time, all civilizations been built the same way. So with that being said, if you're saying destruction, most likely the building process was not respected. You know what I mean? In some type of way. And that is not personal, you know. It's just how shit go. I mean, it's just how it is. You know, if the foundation of your civilization does not respect the Father and the Son, then it gets destroyed. And you gotta try and try again. You know what I mean? One thing about destruction or the death of a civilization is the cleaning process. You know, it brings the community, it brings everybody together. It might be ugly, you know, but you got to go back to the birth, you know, and be aware of the cycle of life and death, you know, and how they're connected. Life and death. As soon as you're born, you know you're gonna die eventually. But with that being said, pay attention to the birth of all civilizations. You don't need a book to read to see what has been done. You know what I mean? So I respect all religious texts. I'm also aware of how it's been used to manipulate and move masses of people, you know. So if you had the power to move masses of people in the direction of lies or direction of misinformation, then that's a powerful weapon. You know? process. You know what I mean? We see it. You see it in your face every day, you know, whether you realize it or not. You know. Peace to the gods. Peace, kings, queens, gods, and earths. Oh no, I'm gonna do understanding. You know, gotta understand what's going on in the world. You gotta understand why it's happening. You gotta understand the past, the present, and the future. The birth, the growing process of the mind, and where you are going with your vision, where you're going with your vision in life. But with that being said, I'm gonna go back to Born one more time, because it's two sides to everything. You know, it's two sides to everything. And when you see both sides of the reality, because both are reality, you understand a little bit more in depth of the other side. So with that being said, address hoes, pimps, drug dealers, and I'm gonna start with those hoes. Hoes been here from the beginning of time. You know what I mean? There's nothing pretty much that can be done about choosing a path. You know what I mean? Somebody in your family has chose that path. You know, somebody will choose that path. You know what I mean? It's an option, and it's a reality. You know. So with that being said, the profession or whatever's not going nowhere. You know what I mean? And it's about the energy of it at that point. After you know it's not going nowhere. It's about the energy of it, you know. You can bring positive energy as a whole. You could bring inspiration as a whole. You could bring fun as a whole to, you know, a man's life. You know what I mean? You never know what a man is going through. And the institution of strip club, the business of strip clubs and brothels, always been around. You know what I mean? For that very purpose. You know, it can be a healing experience if the woman is capable of bringing that energy. All right. So, you know, pimps. You have to look at it from this perspective. If your daughter chose that path, would you want her to be alone? You know what I mean? Would you want her to have nobody but other women to talk to about that? You know, the whole path is a lonely path. You know, sleep with a lot of men, but it's a certain type of man that they feel comfortable with uh, protecting them. They feel comfortable with uh, helping them heal through that process. And this is the righteous pimp mentality. I'm not talking about beating up women or nothing like that, man. Like, the righteous P is there, you know what I mean, to give guidance, attention, motivation, and elevation to the woman that he's dealing with. You know, um, protection to the woman that he's dealing with, and balance to the woman or women that he's dealing with. You know, when I say balance, I mean if you're a woman and you've been dogging men all your life, it's a way to balance that karmic load if you chose the whole path. And you can ask most hoes, they, for some reason, go through a continuous cycle of ending back in the same position. And, you know, normally with proper guidance from a man, you know what I mean, that doesn't happen. It balances it out. That situation gives you clear destination, you know what I mean, and clear mind, you know what I mean. Well, we're talking about drug dealers and the drug dealers. From the beginning of time, we've explored the mind. We have uh, experimented with all the plant life to get us to this level of medicine. You know what I mean? There was a time before hospitals, there were medicine men. All right, there were shaman. These individuals were always respected in their communities, in their tribes, and this is one of the only times where that position is demonized. Okay, drugs in itself are a nasty motherfucker, to be honest. You know, but it's used. You know what I mean? Most of the drugs that I use are not synthetic. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about no synthetic drugs. I'm talking about anything that has been here from the beginning of time that comes from a plant. That's the reason why it's still here. Point blank period. You know, so I'm not gonna go over all the drugs and what's in them, but if the foundation of that drug comes from Mother Earth and it wasn't a benevolent institution that synthesized what you're indulging in, then it's a purpose for it. You know, you may not understand that purpose, you may not agree with that purpose, but everybody's life and path is not the same. You know, man. What I've seen, what I've seen, what I've been through mentally, um, if I chose a path of trying a drug or whatever, it's always almost directly related to some type of trauma, some type of fatigue, some type of depression, some type of problem that the individual was dealing with. Okay. So with that being said, if your child chose a path of using drugs, would you want your child to deal with someone that has no pride in what he does, that doesn't respect drugs, that doesn't respect anything, just want to take advantage and take your child's money, you know what I mean, give them anything? Or would you prefer having enough good good-hearted individuals out here that's not gonna give your child anything, you know what I mean, that know what's going on, probably tried what your son or daughter is receiving, know exactly the effects, tell them exactly, be careful or whatever, so to demonize the shaman, to demonize the medicine man, you have to demonize the bartender, you have to demonize the doctors that give medications that don't work. You gotta look at it from a broader perspective at that point. But just know that path or that decision to be an addict or to overindulge in whatever your drug is, and I do put alcohol in the same category as a drug, you know, it catches just as many bodies as anything else out here, And the other thing I point out is it's mostly the working class that indulges. It's mostly those people with secret double lives, that indulge. So to have respect for your community, to have a building mind frame does not relate or correlate to choosing the shaman path, and that's also a path of enlightenment. You know what I mean? And that, they intentionally attack the shamans, you know what I mean? Because they know how powerful we can be, how powerful they are. You know what I mean? And it's the energy, you know what I mean? It's also the energy, you know what I mean? You could tell when somebody got bad energy or whatever, you know what I mean? When somebody, that's a shiesty world. So to deal with someone that don't bring that shiesty energy, that don't bring that negative vibe, that don't, you know what I mean? It's a different thing. Peace to the gods, peace, kings, queens, gods, and earths. It's been going on from the beginning of the time. Man, pay attention.